lovelies, happy Monday. So yesterday, as you remember, we did a review focused on looking at perimeter area of regular shapes. And then we began irregular shapes, but we only did perimeter because I really just wanted to focus on one element because it's a lot. Okay, so we reviewed perimeter area, which was super easy. That's just grade 4. Then we began to look at irregular shapes, so funky looking shapes, and we began to look at perimeter. Now, today, we're going to be looking at the area of these irregular shapes and how do you calculate the area. Now, let's just quickly review. The area of a regular shape, a regular rectangle, is just length times width. So remember, we just take the length and multiply by the width. So that was 9 times 5, which is 45 centimeters squared. We're using that same formula, same procedure to find out the area of these of an irregular shape, but there's always, and I hope you remember, hopefully you remember, there's 2 mini steps to get to that step. Okay, so let's begin this one and we can try doing it. Okay, so use the same example from yesterday. I'm not doing any new examples, like I said. So take out the same example from yesterday. And if you don't have that paper, then grab a new paper and write this down. So pause the video here, because I'm not going to review all of these steps because we've already done it. Okay, so pause the video here. Grab a piece of paper or grab the paper from yesterday that you were working on for irregular shapes. And now we're going to use the same measurements, same units, same lengths to find the area of this shape. So yesterday, just a quick little review, perimeter we found out that we usually always have 6 sides, usually, and you're missing 2 sides, but for sure you will be missing some sides, 1, 2, maybe 3, but you will always have enough information to find the missing information, okay? So that's how we did it. Today, now we're going to, and I'm going to draw the shape again. So it's not, there's not so much going on. I'll draw the same shape, but this is sort of like, that was like the before when you did all the work to find it out. And I'll just draw the after. So it's a little bit more clear. So this is 9 millimeter. This is 5 millimeter. This is 4 millimeter. This is 5 millimeter. This is 5 millimeter. This is 10 millimeter. So this is the after shape with all of the units. So now let's do the area. Now, area is the same equation, but with this, whenever you have an irregular shape, you have to do, the first thing you have to do is divide the shape. Because this is too confusing. This is way too many shapes in here. You need to make it into 2 regular shapes. So you need to draw a line with your, with something that could break this into 2 shapes. Now, first I'm gonna do it with a pencil to show you that there's more than one option. There's always 2 ways to do it. Now, if I have this shape, I can either, option 1 is draw a line here, right? If I draw a line here, that means, right, this has become, so this shape, I can draw a line here. This is shape 1, that's shape 1, and this is shape 2. That's what you need to do, right? To cut it somewhere, so that's 2 shapes. Or, so maybe that's what you initially saw, or you do a line this way. Same thing, this way, that's shape number 1, that's shape number 2. It doesn't matter which way you do it. It just, you need to do it one way or the other. So choose whichever way. Actually, just do the one that I do. So let's just do, let's draw the line this way because that was what I saw initially. And so whatever your eye saw first, right? So I have chopped this shape so that it looks very similar to what I've already been familiar with, right? So this shape, if I break it up, oh, this looks just like this. So I can calculate area. And this shape is just much more similar to this than this wonky looking shape. Now just label them. So I said I'm going to draw the line here. I'm going to use green so it stands out, green. And this is going to be 1, and this is going to be 2. Okay? Now let's do the area of these individual shapes. And I forgot to put my paper. So I have to first calculate the area of shape number 1. Okay, so what is the area of shape number 1? And for this, because a lot of you were getting confused, I want you to cover the other shape. If I'm looking at shape 1, I want you to just cover shape number 2. It doesn't even exist right now, okay? Now, what are the measurements? And same thing, length times width. What is the length of this shape? right? So what is the length of this shape? This is 10. Okay, so I've got 10. Now this is where the tricky part is. What is the width? Is it 9? Can it be 9 when I know all of this is 9? So if I'm only looking at this part of the shape, you should not be thinking of 9. What is the width? It is only this much, right? Which is 5. So it should be 10 times 5. That was a tricky place, okay? That was a tricky part where people were getting confused. 9 has nothing to do with this shape, right? It's kind of there, but it doesn't help me with this shape. So you have to kind of just pretend that 9 isn't there right now, because the 9 is the length of this whole vertical line. I only want this bit, which we know is 5. Okay? Then you just multiply them. 10 times 5 is 50. Now let's do the area of shape number 2. Again, I want to forget the first shape now and do the rest. So again, area is length times width. What is my length? God is 5. So this and this is 5. So 5 times what is my width? This is 4, and so is this. So 4. What's 5 times 4? 20. Now you're not done yet. You're almost done. You have the area of this little part. You have an area of this little part. Now you just need to put them together, right? So then we can just say area. You can either say area or you can say total area. It's up to you. Area is equal to whatever you want to write, or you maybe want to write area T for total. It's up to you. Is 50 millimeter plus 20 millimeter, which is 70 millimeter. And because it's area, I need to put squared. Okay, do you see how we did that? So step 1 is you want to chop it somewhere. So I have 2 regular shapes. Then you need to find the area of each separate shape. And don't let the numbers that are extra numbers confuse you. And then you just add them together. Okay, let's do another one together. So don't panic yet. Let's do some more examples together. Let's do this one. So again, from yesterday, pause it here. If you did not write it yesterday, write it now. And let's do the area now. So yesterday we did the perimeter. We found the missing information, and then we did the perimeter. Now let's do the area. Now, and I'm just going to keep adding to my page. Step 1 is to break it up so that I have 2 separate shapes. Because right now I have one wonky, weird, unusual shape. And I need to make it 2 separate regular shapes. So where can I break it off so that it's separate, right? So again, you can do it this way, right? You can draw a line here because that would mean this is this long rectangle and this short little baby. Or you can draw a line this way, right? Then you've got shape number 1 and shape number 2. It's up to you. Okay, I'm going to do that because that was the first one I saw. That's where my eye went. So this will be 1, this will be 2. Then you're finding out the separate area. So let's do area 1. So what is the area of just, and again, I want you to, I have to put my paper again. What is the area of just, so pretend like number 2 is not even there, right? What is the area of just that part of the regular shape? So I've got, what is my length? Okay, I'm looking for this length. Now, you're probably wondering, you may get confused. Is it 7 or 5? And this is where you may want to take off your arms, your hand, and look at it. Now, 7 is this whole thing, right? And I just want to know this part. So when my length is not 7, because this whole thing is 7, and I don't care about this little piece. So my length is only 5, right? And then what's my width? Yesterday I discovered that it was 3. So 5 times 3, 15. Okay, let's keep going. Area of the second shape. What is the area of the second shape? Now I'm going to cover my first shape. I'm looking for length. Length is easy because it's 6. It's this long one. So 6 times, What is my width? I want this little edge, right? What is my little edge? And yesterday I found out it was 2 centimeter. Now, don't get confused. This 3 centimeters is just this part, so we don't care about that. So forget about it. We want to know this one, and we want to know this long one. So the little one is 2 meter. So 6 times 2 is 12. And then you just say area for my total is 15 meter plus 12 meter, which is 27. Oops, 20. Oh, sorry, I'm going to write that again. 27 meter. And because it's area, I need to put the squared. Okay? And then last bit, so did we get that? Hopefully you got that. Does that make sense? We cut into 2 shapes, right? Found the area of shape 1, found the area of shape 2, and then we added it. Okay, let's do one more example. Hopefully it's making more sense. So pause the video here. Try doing the area of this shape on your own. See if you can do it on your own. So step 1, break it into 2 separate shapes. Step 2, find the areas of each of the shapes. And then step 3, add them together. See if you can do it on your own, and then we can do it together. So pause it and try. Okay, let's try it together. So step 1, I need to break this up. And once again, there's 2 different ways. You can either break it this way. So I've got this shape and this shape. Or you can break it this way. So you've got this shape and this shape. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. So I've got 1 and 2. And again, it doesn't matter if this is 1 or this is 2, just as long as you do it, right? Okay, let's do this. Area is equal to, so oops, area 1. Area of 1. Okay, again, I have to, you can try covering it. So I'm going to cover it because sometimes it's easy. You cover it. Length times width. So what's the length? What is the long edge? Okay, which we know is 6. So 6 times. What is the small edge? This says 2. So you say 6 times 2. 12. Now again, we don't care about this because this tells me this whole thing is 7. And we only want this little tiny little bit, which we know is 2. Okay? Then area of 2. Area of my second shape, I'm going to cover this. Okay, so I want the length and the width. And remember, when it's a big shape like this, I'm looking at this whole thing, right? This little bit is 3. You don't care about that, so you pretend like it's not there, right? I want to know the whole thing. And also, this 7 is not this. Remember, this whole side is 7. But I'm not talking about this edge. So you need to forget about 7 and 3. Those are those extra numbers that we don't need right now. We only need the length, which is this whole thing, which is 9, times my width, which is these 2. But remember, it's not 7. It's only 5 because this whole thing is 7, but not this part. So we want 5. 9 times 5 is 45. And then you do a total. So we say 12 plus 45, which is 57 meter squared. That is my answer. Okay? Does that make more sense? I really hope that makes more sense. If you do it in steps, I promise it will be easy. Sometimes a lot of us are just rushing into it. You are either adding all the sides without thinking about it. You're not breaking them separately. So break the 2 shapes and then try to do it, okay? I want you to pause, and this could be like our own, before you go do the Edmodo quiz, let's do this as a Miss Mavish lesson quiz. So try it. I've given you the shape. I want you to do the perimeter and area, and let's see how much you learned after yesterday's and today's lesson. Pause the video, do this, and then let's do it together, okay? And hopefully you get it right, and you can mark yourself. So I'm gonna first do my perimeter. I need to find out the missing information, and as always, and I'll use the black, perimeter is equal to, and remember, I'm going to go back and see, okay, how many sides do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? That tells me I need to do I have to do 6 of these, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do I already know? I know that this side is 8. I know that this side is 10. I know that this side is 4 plus. Oh, I don't know what this side, so I'm going to put a little box. I also don't know what this side is, so I'm going to put another box. And I know what this side is, which is 7. So I'm missing 2 sides. Okay, now let's find out what we can do. So, and I'll put that in red. This is a question mark, and this side is a question mark. So I'm going to do this one first. Put it over here. This one, that is horizontal. That means I'm going to look at all the other horizontal lines. This is horizontal, so look at the horizontal line up here. So 8 minus the other horizontal line, which is 4, which means it's 4. So this is 4 meters, right? And it makes sense. If this is all 8 and this portion is 4, then the rest is 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8, or 8 minus 4. Now let's do this side. This one is vertical. Look at all the other vertical lines. This is vertical. Look at the other long vertical line, which is 10. And the other vertical line, which is 7, which means this is 3 meters. Okay? Now we can fill it in. We got 4 and we've got 3. Right? Okay. So that's all we did, right? We did, how can we simplify? We found them 2 missing sides, and then we just fill it into our equation. So we've got 10, 20, wait. I'm getting lost. 7, 10, 20, 28, 32, 36, right? 36, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Hopefully I'm right. And then last bit, so many additions, so many multiplication. Last bit for area, remember we need to separate them. So I'm going to separate it, let's say this way. This will be 1, this will be 2. Okay, then I've got area 1 is equal to, so again, I'm going to pretend like this side is not here, right? I'm just looking at this shape. So the length, which is this, 7, times the width, which is only this much. So what is this? 4. 28. Area for shape number 2 is the length, which is 10, times the width. I only want this much, right? Pretend like 1 is in there. I only want this much. So it's not 8, it's only 4. So it's 40. So area total is 28 meter plus 40 meter is equal to 68 meters squared. There we go. So that's how we can do perimeter area of that last one. So hopefully you got that right. And then that means you're ready for the next topic for tomorrow. So now, again, just quickly review everything we just did. Go on to Edmodo, do your quiz for today. It will be really short, and that means you understand some of the topics that we're reviewing. Okay, again, you may be ready to do some of the study guide. If not, you're going to do a little bit later in the week. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye.